Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Tyler and today I'm going to be talking about my experience so far with the HSCP scholarship. I meant to make this video around the 1 year mark. Unfortunately, I've been super busy with school and work and everything, and so it kind of got pushed out. Right now I'm sitting at about 1.5 years so far in the program. I started December 11th, 2019 is when I signed my contract for the scholarship. And as of today, it is June 16th, 2021. And if you haven't done so already, please be sure to check out my previous 2 videos. It explains what the HSCP is, the benefits of it, as well as how you could apply for it. So today I'm going to be talking about several things, such as what my obligation so far has looked like to the Navy. I'm also going to be talking about how much I made over the year 2020. And also I'm going to be talking about the benefits that I've experienced from being in the military, such as having access to my military ID card, as well as TRICARE. So starting off with the obligations, obviously things have changed quite a bit since the pandemic has started. So my obligations have looked a little bit different in terms of I have yet to take the PRT. For those of you who don't know, that's the fitness exam that's required by the Navy every 6 months, I believe. And that's been postponed. As far as I know, the next time that is scheduled is in October of 2021. I've still been preparing and training for that, of course, so that I'm going to be able to pass when the time finally comes. As far as other obligations, I used to meet my recruiter in person every month, and I'd sign a form just saying everything's okay, that nothing's changed as far as my health goes, school's going okay. Those have changed to monthly either phone calls or just texts, and then the recruiter does all the paperwork on his end. So that's pretty convenient. Don't have to take the time out of my day to go do a long meeting. Could just do a quick phone call and everything's all good there. There have been a few medical things that I've had to do over the last 1.5 years. This includes, I had to go to MEPS last June. So it's required and for those of you who don't know, MEPS is Military Entrance Processing Station. And what that looks like is you have to go through a full physical. So they'll do everything from drawing your blood to taking urine to testing your eyes, your ears. I talk all about it in my last video, so go check that out if you haven't seen that yet. But what MEPS looks like during COVID was a little bit different, but they still hit all the major areas that I described in the last video. So I had to do that last June. Thankfully, there was no issues there. And then the alternative year, so I said you have to do MEPS every other year. And so the year in between, you still have to get a physical done by just any doctor. So I have that scheduled at the end of this month. And also you have every year to do a dental exam. And so I did that last year in 2020, as well as this year in 2021. And that leads me into the benefits that I've experienced so far in regards to TRICARE. TRICARE so far, in my experience, has been absolutely fantastic. So far, I haven't had to pay a dime towards anything that I've had done. I've had no major medical expenses, thankfully. I've had just some testings done, mostly for my Navy experience, but also for some schooling requirements. I've had to have some testing done. And that's costed me $0 out of pocket, which is great. Also, I've had some dental work done. Not only have they done my cleanings and exams with no copay, but also I've had some fillings and sealants put in. And actually, I think that it's just been fillings actually. But so far, all that has cost me no money, and I've had a great experience with TRICARE. As far as other benefits that I've experienced, being in the military, besides just TRICARE, is use of my military ID card. And this has come in handy in several aspects of my life so far. Obviously, there's discounts at various stores that you can take advantage of. Most recent of which for me is there is a Nike employee store relatively near where I live, and so every so often they will open up the store for military members. So I was able to get in and do some shopping at the, for those of you who don't know, the Nike employee store is a discounted Nike store. So that was pretty cool. I've also taken advantage of the different perks that come along with being a military member, such as not paying any fees in regards to credit cards. And so me personally, I signed up for the Chase Sapphire Reserve card. And typically I think now that has around, it's between, I think it's about a $500 annual fee. I don't know because it's waived as a military member, and so I haven't actually had to pay it, which has been great. But there has been a lot of perks that I've had from that card. The biggest being that card gives you a $300 travel credit. And with last year with COVID, they adjusted the travel credit a little bit to include more things. And so basically it's just a free, it's free real estate, $300 a year credit for at least last year that I could use on a variety of things. But I've taken full advantage of that. Also, you get a one-time bonus for if you hit a certain dollar threshold in a certain amount of time, then they'll give you 50,000 points, which is equivalent to about $650. And besides just the credit card, there are other benefits that I have yet to take advantage of, such as discounted prices on certain things, such as cell phone. I think through Verizon, they offer you a pretty good deal on your cell phone if you're active duty. I have yet to take advantage of that, but I do plan on that. I do want to make a couple comments though. My experience has been outstanding this last year and a half, but there has been a couple things that have come up that haven't been quite ideal. The main one being because of COVID, they have placed some traveling restrictions on me, especially during 2020. Those have recently been lifted, and so I'm able to start traveling again. But last year in 2020, they restricted how far I could go from like my residence. And it was like a couple hundred miles, so I could go fairly far. I go to, for me, I'm like about 100-ish miles from Portland, Oregon. And so I was able to go to Portland, do shopping if I needed to. But if I wanted to do any big trips, like for example, I had a trip to Tennessee planned last year to see my friend. And unfortunately that had to be canceled because I couldn't fly anywhere. Which is understandable, but at the same time, it was a little bit frustrating. Like I said recently, those restrictions have been lifted, so I have that trip to Tennessee hopefully planned for this summer. We're still figuring out the dates exactly, as well as at the end of summer, I have a trip to Hawaii planned. And so it'll be my first time, very excited. The other comment that I wanted to make is the truth about the TSP. So there's not a lot of information out there about this, so I was kind of confused when I was first getting started trying to set it up. So I wanted to tell you guys about it today. So the TSP, for those of you who don't know, is the part of the retirement program with the Navy, or military in general. And how it works is you have your, I explained in my last video, your base pay as well as your allowances. And so what the military will do is they'll have your base pay, and if you contribute up to 5% or more of your base pay to the retirement program, they'll match it. All right. And apparently, I didn't know this, that does not start until you're after the beginning of your second year in the Navy / military. So when I first started, I didn't know this, and I contributed my 5%. And I was logging in to my account every month and just seeing they do an automatic 1% match, and that's if you contribute anything or not. They'll automatically put in 1% of your base pay. That's not taken out of your paycheck. That's an additional 1% that they'll put in. And I was putting in my 5%, but nothing was being matched besides that 1%. And looking into it and asking, I had to ask around a little bit. Apparently that doesn't start until your second year of service. So just something to note there. And finally, I'm going to be talking about the financials of 2020 and exactly how much I made, both with the Navy and with any other work that I did. So to remind some of you, there are three main sources of income when you are active duty military. One is your base pay, and that is based on your rank and time in service. And all of these are public knowledge, so you can just Google military pay charts, and it will tell you exactly how much a military member makes based on their time in service and their rank. For me, I'm an E6. I have less than 2 years experience of service in the military. And so in 2020, I made a base pay per month of $2,693.70, which came out to a grand total of $32,324.40 for the year. And that's just including base pay. When you include my housing allowance, which was $1,626 a month, that's based purely on location, as well as my food allowance, which is also known as BAS, which was $372.71 in 2020. The grand total of what I made from the Navy was $56,308.92. The way my specific program is set up, so I'm in a pharmacy program. We had last summer off, and we're going to have this summer off. Unfortunately, next summer, we're going to be doing rotations all summer. So I was able to work last summer as well as a little bit over Christmas break. And so I did make some money working for Walgreens in the pharmacy there. And so from Walgreens, I made $10,261.03. And that would take, if you combined both my Navy income with my income from working outside of the Navy, my grand total income for 2020 was $66,569.95. I also wanted to make a comment that not all of that is taxable, right? And so the housing allowance and food allowance are not taxable, as I explained in my previous video. So of the $66,569.95, $23,984.52 was not taxable. After doing some quick math, that means I only had to pay taxes on $42,585.43 for 2020. The reason I'm sharing this information with you guys is that you can kind of get an idea what the lifestyle would be like if you were to get the HSCP scholarship. For me, and it will look different depending on what program you're part of, right? And so for me, I'm in pharmacy school. That's going to look the cost a lot different than someone who is training to be a doctor or a dentist, right? And so since I pay in-state tuition, we pay about $28,000 per year in tuition. And remember last year I made $66,569.95. And so that is enough for me to cover my tuition as well as most of my living expenses, because remember, this program does not cover tuition directly. And one final note that I wanted to make today before I leave you guys is that housing allowance is very different depending on where you live. So my program is a little bit unique in the sense that the first 2 years are spent in more of a rural town, and then on your third year, you transfer up to like a big city where cost of living is a lot higher, and rent and housing is going to be a lot more expensive. And thankfully, the military compensates for that. And so this summer, I'm going to be moving up to Portland, Oregon, and the housing allowance up there comes out to about $2,400 a month, which is almost an $800 raise, tax-free, that I'll be getting, which is great because it's going to be a lot more expensive, and so I will be needing more money per month. So just be sure, if you're looking into this scholarship, to look, there's calculators online that can calculate your housing allowance based on your school's location. So all you do is you put in the zip code of your school, and it'll tell you exactly how much they'll give you per month for housing. And hopefully that can give you a rough estimate of what you could make on this scholarship. And that's all that I have. So I just want to thank everybody for joining me today. I didn't have a ton of time, still super busy with even though school's out for the year, been working, I still have a couple leadership roles that I'm finishing some things up, so I didn't have a ton of time to put into the video, but I did want to give you guys an update, and hopefully I can make a couple more, at least one more video this summer. And so if you would like, drop a comment of what other content that you would like to see or for me to talk about. Other than that, I just want to thank everybody for joining me in my journey and just following along. And until next time, peace.